Oh, I didn't think about that. Yeah, good point.
What's up, Mr. Stu?
Hello, Jim. How are you,
How
sir?
are you?
I'm
I'm
good.
doing fantabulous. Thank you for asking. We're talking over each other, which means we're well rehearsed. It's only 171 episodes, or 170 episodes behind us, so our timing still needs some work.
At least today.
So there you know. So you've been regaling us with snippets of your new walk-up music. What is walk-up music, and why is it important?
Well, you can use walk-up music for anything. Transitions from the Jim and Stu show to the podcast. It's a nice little cleanses the palate for the next event.
Oh my God.
But then it also gets you in that, it's like a performance cue. Like you hear this music and you're like, okay, got to bring my A game.
I hear you. Kind of like this. Hey everybody, welcome to the Content Game. That's right, where we teach you how to create amazing content using our wizards. We're gonna teach you what to do, demonstrate what to do, have you do it, and then give you feedback all within 1 hour. So let's get ready, kids, to play the Content Game. Ready, Stu? Let's take it away. Okay, so that's what we play at the beginning of every Thursday show for when we do our content workshop for everybody that's in content marketing scripts. And that kind of like gets everybody pumped up, and it gets me kind of, in the mood, kind of like Barry White under other circumstances,
like it.
Get you some Barry White working.
I'm on it.
So, yeah, so there you go. I'll take that out of context. So, I like it. So, you're gonna play your
you want to hear
your walk-up music for it? Sure. Yeah, let's hear it.
If there are any Mets fans out there, you will know what I'm about to play, because the closer Diaz comes in the ninth inning to shut it down, and he plays this walk-up music.
Nice. So, just for any of you Facebook copyright narcs, that was fair use because we're just using it as an example and not claiming that music as our own or using it for commercial purposes. That was just two fellas talking about music. So,
maybe the bot heard us.
Yeah, I don't.
Whatever algorithm out there. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just all designed to drive everyone crazy and make the redheaded monkey as much money as possible. So, what are we talking about today, Stu, on the Jim and Stu show?
Well, we need some ideas, Jim. So what do we do for idea generation? How do you get inspired ideas and develop them into something useful for whatever? Okay. It could be for whatever, Jim. Life, business, you name it. We got to come up with some ideas.
Okay. Well, in order to come up with an idea, you need some stimuli. Because the problem is that if you try and figure it out on your own, then you're going to have issues. Because if you were going to have an idea, you would have had an idea already. You can't just conjure ideas out of thin air. So we're going to do something I wasn't intending on doing, but I guess I'm addicted to Wordle now. So it's my potty time. So one way to come up with amazing ideas is to use software. We have software wizards that will help you do that. In fact, we'll demonstrate one in just a minute, especially if I run into problems with filling out the rest of this acronym when we're trying to come up with cool ideas.
Are you making this acronym up right now? Like,
dude, I'm totally yanking. I'm yanking this out of my nether regions right now.
Okay, I'm impressed.
Not yet. Just saw software. We can stop right there. Okay, so another one is in the news. All right. So this actually, I get tons of ideas from this. I will. One of the things I do in the morning besides Wordle is I scan all the headlines, and I have certain. I've told Google News to show me more stories like this. I get a lot of technology stories. I get sports stories. I get video game stories. Try and avoid the politics because it's been the same for years. But I will look in the news and it will give me ideas for stuff, whether it's ideas for articles or things like that. I also will record my insights as I have them. So it's like, to me, this is recording ideas for a rainy day. When we're in the process of finishing up our move, which means we're taking one big pile of shit from one house and piling it up at another house, and hopefully it will get organized at some point. One of the things I found though is I keep things on this. This is kind of my journal now, this board. But I have at least a dozen different notebooks that I've kept over the years that have, and here's one right here that I will, and I go through phases, but I'll record all my I'll record ideas and stuff in here. And so if I'm ever starved for an idea, which isn't often, I can go back and look at past insights that I've had.
Hey, Jim, real quick, let me just add something, because that's really important, because we get ideas without even trying because of the stimuli all around us.
You also said something very important there. We get ideas without even trying. Normally, when I get great ideas, they come like a bolt out of the blue. You can't just sit down and say, give me a great idea, because then it's great ideas come from your subconscious, which I believe is a connection to the divine. And that's how we communicate with the universe, God, Fred, whatever you want to call it. That's where it comes from. So when your mind is relaxed, or if you're focused on something else, like a lot of times my great ideas come from, driving, taking a shower, working out. My workout journal is a partially idea journal. I mean, that I had to sit down and write a bunch of stuff in there yesterday when I was stretching. Ideas will come to me. You just never know when.
Yeah, and you just got to be ready to record your insight.
Absolutely. You got to be ready to record it. You got to know that it's coming. Yep.
My memorandum
is there you go. So, thinking about, software, the news, insights. If you were looking for ideas, what would be a good M, Stu?
Memory.
What do you think?
Memories.
Ooh. Okay. Memories.
Past experiences.
Yeah, that's great. And one of the good things about being older is you've got stuff inside yourself that you can say, okay, stuff pretty much going in cycles. I remember high inflation from the 70s. Okay, what were people doing back then? You looking back, there's nothing new under the sun, and it seems like everything repeats itself about every 7 years now, 6 to 8 years ish.
Yeah.
So how did we deal with this before in a different thing? I mean, I've done a lot with like teleseminar, we're doing teleseminars and then webinars and then Zoom and all that stuff. The technology might change, but the principles never change. As long as there are people involved, the principles never change.
Yep. Origin stories, heroes' journeys, all of those little ways of tapping into your memories and past experiences are great ways to find ideas and content for new topics.
Whether it's yours or others.
Yeah.
A lot of times I will get it through books, reading about other people's lives. I'm reading a really good book right now by a guy who it was a Vietnam vet, and he's just telling about his experiences as a Green Beret in in Vietnam. And just, it's funny because I'm learning more about human nature from the book than anything else. It's just interesting to learn and
that's
get
cool.
ideas and stuff. So what would a U be, Stu?
Hmm.
And we can skip ahead to the L unless Susan's got one. You got a U, Stu, or a U, Susan, for ideas, or anybody else? What would be a good U for coming up with ideas?
Usable. Oh, sorry, that's what kicked into mind.
How about an L? Library. No, seriously. I mean, you know, books.
Now you made me think like backwards. Universities. I mean, I don't even look at like research papers.
Nah, universities suck.
Universe.
Oh, the universe. Oh, perfect. The
I'll work my way
universe.
to it eventually.
I was just about to say
That's
that.
awesome. That's awesome. Universe.
Beat me
Just
to
sit
it.
there and relax and open up to receive a great idea. That's excellent. Well
Hopefully I
done.
get paid
Well
today.
done. Well done.
Woo-hoo!
Yeah,
Yeah, that was
Don't get
good.
paid today.
Good stuff.
I do need to figure out commissions today, but yes. Books, ebooks, videos. Look at your library. Look at stuff, especially stuff that's just sitting on the, you know, I don't know about you guys, but I've bought books and didn't read them.
Yeah.
I know I'm the only person in the universe that's done that. So sometimes if you're looking for an idea, open up a book that you bought and never read, flip through the pages, you know, like brrr, ping, and just read. Just searching for inspiration. Ooh. I got the I if y'all don't have one.
I was going to say something kind of funny. Imbibe. Sometimes alcohol can open up my mind a bit.
Okay. Well, you know what? We're gonna do this. We're gonna
Not
do
massive
imbibe.
amounts, just a sip. Yeah, a couple sips.
Yeah, bull crap. Anyway, thank you, Susan. That was great. Susan wins for universe. That was the best one.
What was yours, Fry? Now I gotta know.
Yeah, imbibe was kind of a joke.
It's inspirational quotes.
Absolutely.
Imbibe inspirational quote. Imbibe while reading inspirational quotes.
Yeah. When I imbibe, I can come up with some inspirational quotes.
The problem is that I sound smarter when I'm drinking, and when I sober up, I'm like, "Who was this fool?" All right, and I haven't drunk in 30 years. Thank you, Susan.
Yeah. Same.
All
I've
right.
had this natural aversion to alcohol the last 2.5 years.
Since you came to my house.
Just haven't been. It's like, this isn't it. I just don't like it. So.
Well, the problem is also, man, you talk about looking at Twinkies and the calories. Drink a few beers. How many times you're gonna have to run around the block to run them beers off, son?
Yeah, way too many.
Okay,
Even my
so-
30th Navy anniversary, reunion. I did not drink a drop, and those things are hard to not drink. Yeah, I mean, because what do you do?
Didn't your brother-in-law own a bar?
Owns a bar. I still don't take advantage of it.
Does he have good appetizers?
Yeah, great food.
Okay, cool. Do you go over there and sponge off of him?
Yes.
I just wait for you to say, "Oh no, man, we don't do that. We pay." No, dude, I go over there, I order whatever I want. I don't pay him. I don't even say thanks. That's funny. All right, kids. So, where do ideas come from? Ideas come from stimuli. If you want to receive an idea, you have to put something in order to get something out. If you want an idea, they don't just form. So you can use software. We'll do a really cool demo here in just a second. You can watch or look at or read the news, preferably curated news, not political crap. You can look for insights.
Record your
Whether from-
insights.
Record your insights. Yep, insights recorded. Record your insights as you get them for later use. looking at memories, past experiences you've had in similar situations, both for yourself and others. Ask the universe for a great idea. Library, look at your library, the public library, look at books, ebooks, videos. And finally, imbibe something. I guess Stu's moved on to peyote buds or something,
Just water. Caffeine.
And then look for, caffeine. It's the best. Inspirational literature and quotes. This is a really good one. You just throw in a little thought and then sit there and let it percolate. And you'd be amazed at what you can get going just with that little spark. And often that's all you need is just a spark. And then your subconscious is like, oh, that's all we needed. Off to the races. So, yeah, that was great. Would you like to see a couple of ideas, a couple of squizzards to help you come up with an idea?
Yes.
Okay. A squizzard is a script and a wizard had a dumpster baby.
Oh, I love it.
So that's a squizzard. I just made that up. As you already knew. All right. So we don't want that one. Do we want the daily content idea wizard, or do we want the okay, well, we'll look at this one. This is one of them. This is over inside of the content marketing scripts. And so we'll just load our little avatar. We'll use our special operations candidate. And we'll see if we can come up with some cool ideas for Mr.
Right.
Stu.
I'm taking notes.
With an aspiring special operations candidate in mind, answer the questions. What is a free phone app that helps with preparing for special ops selection?
Hey, there is an app for that. And it's mine.
It's so we're going to turn this into Stimulize, and the last I is shameless self-promotion. I like it. What's another one? Ooh, here's a good one. What's the question every new aspiring special operations candidate needs to ask about how to get a spec ops contract? Would that give you an idea for just about anything?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Let's see. What is a tool any aspiring special operations candidate can use right now to get better results and prepare for spec ops selection? I just got one in the mail. It's a replacement for one I had. Well, not a replacement, but I need two of them over here at the Hacienda now. Starts with a T and ends with an X.
Oh, TRX.
That's good. I gave you 66% of the answer. So a TRX, you could do a whole thing on TRX.
Yeah, easy.
And you could also then have your affiliate link over to where they could buy one.
Great
or you could sell them 3 months of Stu Smith high-end coaching and include a TRX that you will ship it to them along with your own videos on how to get spec ops awesome with the TRX. So you charge them $700 and send them a thing that costs $150. And I bet you could probably call your buddy and get a bulk deal on them.
Yeah.
Maybe. Just a thought.
I like that idea.
All right.
TRX
so
Premium.
What's a web, again, this, what's an existing website aspiring special operations candidate can use right now to get a spec ops contract or to pass selection on the first try? What's a website that would help them pass selection on the first try? StuSmithFitness.com. All right.
Yeah.
So anyway, this is just one of a bunch of different tools we have, but we just came up with 3, 4, 5 pretty decent ideas.
Yeah.
That you could use for anything from a YouTube video to a webinar to getting the impetus for a Q&A session. Sometimes people, hey, I can show up and ask questions. They don't know what questions to ask. But if you have some questions ready, then that usually gets the juices going for everybody.
Good idea.
So there you go. One other thing just as an aside, inside of Content Marketing Scripts, in the Simple Interview Wizard, sometimes questions are the fastest way to be able to come up with ideas for stuff. And so, like this one, why is ebook marketing so important for book authors? I mean, well, crap, dude, I could teach. That's like the first 15 minutes of a webinar right there.
Easy.
So questions are an awesome way to get inspired or to get an idea for something. And so the Simple Interview Wizard has a ton of them. I love this one. If a book author gave you $100 gift card for Amazon, what would you buy to help you with your ebook marketing results? I love that because it makes you think, okay, what would you buy? Actually, you know what I would do? I'll tell you what I'd do. I would turn around and buy 100 $1 gift cards and then do a bestseller campaign out to subscribers where I sent them that and got them to all buy the book on the same day. That's a $1 million tip I just gave y'all right there.
That's a good one.
That's like dropping your wallet and $100 bill fell out.
Get ready to take that #1 ranking picture too, because it's coming.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. So those are some ways to come up with ideas. And if we wanted to add that to our little thing up here, it'd be like Squid Game. Squid Games. So awesome. Well, I think that's it for the Jim and Stu show.
That was awesome.
Anything else? And by the way, if you'd like to know more about Content Marketing Scripts, we have almost 1,000 members in there that every Thursday we get together and do content. Got a bunch of really cool tools in there. Just taught an amazing training yesterday on 6 different ways to create very magnetic lead magnets, all in less than an hour, using all the goodies inside of Content Marketing Scripts. I actually talked smack about you, Stu, yesterday.
Yeah.
One of the techniques that we taught on how to create a lead magnet involved crowdsourcing. And I said, my buddy Stu asked one question to his group, got a whole bunch of answers, and turned those answers into a book. So if he can do that with a real book, obviously you could do it with a lead magnet. So
yeah. And that original idea was just for an article. Right. I was trying to get 10 answers, but I wound up getting over 100. And I was like, it's pretty good.
As the professional opportunist that you are, you said, okay,
I did both.
Another book.
I wrote an article and I did a book. I wrote an article that pitched the book. Yeah, exactly.
There you go. Awesome. What's sad? All right. This will be like the 4th time.
You drinking nothing?
I'm trying to get that last little sippy out of the bottom. So I got a little something, but I think it was backwash from the first 3 times, but what are you going to do?
Hey, as long as it's yours.
I hope it is. All right. So now we are moving on to the podcast. And I just want to point out that those of you who are here with us live, you are really lucky because this topic we are about to talk about is going to change your life. Stu and I have been preparing for this podcast for a week, and you should really feel bad for anybody who's not here live. In fact, you should tag somebody who should be here live because what we're about to drop on you is absolutely going to change your life and ability to make more sales. I'm not going to say anything else. I'm just going to say 3, 2, 1. Hey, everybody. Jim Edwards here. Welcome back to the Sales Copywriting Content Marketing Hacks Podcast. I'm your host, along with my trusty co-host and podcast producer, Mr. Stu Smith. Welcome, Stu.
Thank you, Jim.
Folks, we're going to talk about something today that will change your life. It's how to pitch your product, and specifically common mistakes to avoid and secrets to success when it comes to pitching your product. Now, a lot of you think sales is dirty. Well, most of the people who listen to this probably don't think selling is dirty because, well, it's in the name. And so if you're not interested in sales copywriting or content marketing, you pretty much hate money, hate your children, and want to go work at that big box conglomerate where you can move up the ranks and be super successful by mastering this script. Are you ready? It's still a pitch. That's the funny thing. It's a pitch. Would you like fries with that, or perhaps a hot apple pie? That's the pitch you'll be doing if you can't figure out how to do a pitch for your own product. I ain't lying. That's the truth. So this is super important. So Stu, how do you want to get started?
Well, I was thinking about this one, Jim. I was thinking, I've over the years I have pitched a few ideas to people that made a big difference in my current life.
Okay.
One of them was to write an article for military.com fitness, because I noticed they didn't have a fitness section on military.com, and that was 20 years ago. And I've been writing 3 articles a week for them ever since, which has been good. And they've even paid me to use my videos. I mean, it has grown every year in a way that I was shocked that, it's still happening.
Plus, it's giving you outstanding credibility too.
It's just been great. It's just been great. But I was also thinking of yours too. But also mine that I did with you once. So I got a whole bunch of them in my head, all these different pitches that are just hitting me like, damn, I pitched that, and Jim pitched this. And so I remember we had been working out for, I don't know, probably a year, maybe 2. And I just noticed your email address, had about ebook coach written in it somewhere. And I was like, what does this mean? And then you explained to me what you do. And that got me thinking. You gave me an idea, inspired an idea about something I have been wanting to do for a while, is explaining content marketing in a way that you can do it yourself. That's where you and I came up with, what was it? DIY media marketing, but it was like, you don't, what was our saying? I can't even remember now, Jim. It was about you're
a marketer who does this. The biggest
thing
is you're a real estate agent. You're a marketer you're a media marketing company that promotes real estate.
Right. That's sorry, I can't even remember the perfect pitch. But it was like, because we're all media companies. We're not just a fitness writer. I'm a media company that sells fitness. You're a media company that sells content marketing. So that's how we designed, the DIY media marketing book. We wrote a book together, and then we created a program around it as well. And Jim sucked it all up and put it into Jim Edwards Method Premium. But probably the most successful pitch of them all has been Jeff's pitch to Russell Brunson.
Who the hell's Jeff?
I'm sorry, Jim's pitch to Russell Brunson. Man, I need more caffeine.
Okay, you
today.
suck. Just say it.
Jim's pitch to Russell Brunson.
You on the flu medication? So I wanna tell you though. You think about different pitches and stuff, and a seminal pitch in your life was when you pitched military.com on writing an article for them. In 1998, I sat down and pitched the Virginia Gazette, the editor and the deputy editor of the Virginia Gazette, on letting me write the internet column for the paper, which I later syndicated on my own. And it was interesting because I had no business pitching them on letting me write articles. I mean, I majored in history. I never took a journalism anything, but it's how I got there. And there's a lesson here. And then I want to hear how you actually were able to get in front of the military.com guys. I had been selling websites, back in 1997, 96, 97, anyway, years are jacked up, but we had a digital camera Nobody had digital cameras back in 95, 96, 97. And we had, you remember, I don't know if you remember these old Sony, they were like the cutting edge, and they used a floppy disk as the film. You literally put a floppy disk in there, and that was the film. And so we had Hurricane Isabel came through Williamsburg and wrought destruction everywhere. And so normally my wife would not have let me go anywhere unsupervised, but my father-in-law, wonderful guy, World War II vet, he's like, I want to go around and see what happened. I said, well, I'll drive you. And so Terry couldn't tell me no because her dad wanted to go, and I got to keep her dad safe. So I took the camera with me. So I got all these great pictures of, like, I got a picture of a submerged cop car. I got a picture of a complete and total road collapse, all this stuff. I got home. I was like, damn, these are some pretty good pictures. And I was able to go into places that other people couldn't because my wife worked for the police department. So I knew all the cops. So they were letting me pass when they wouldn't let other people pass. And I was saying, I'm within Williamsburg.com, which was my web address. It was meaningless, but I'm like, I'm within Williamsburg.com. I want to go back and take some pictures. So I had a contact at the paper, a guy that I had sent a press release to one time. And I called him up and said, hey, dude, I got some pictures. Do you guys need any pictures of hurricane damage? He was like, oh, my God. Can you come down here right now? Our photographer was somewhere, and they had no pictures for the newspaper of stuff from the hurricane. So I went down to the paper and I started showing them my pictures. And the next day, they said, like, well, what do you want for these? They were expecting me to try and make them pay. I said, well, can you just give me credit under the picture? That's all. Just courtesy Jim Edwards in Williamsburg.com. That's all. And, in like 3-point type. Susan can write that small, the only human being I know that can. But it was so small, nobody reads that crap. And they're like, that's all. Sure. So next day, front page, full color, was the picture of the cop car half submerged. And everybody was, oh, it's the best picture ever. I'm surprised I didn't win a Pulitzer. Okay. But see, what happened was they had started running this column I didn't even know, it sucked. It was about the internet. So I had written my book, and I had my little, my tape program I did, Tender Little Secrets of Mortgage Financing. And I found one of them while we were moving. I wanted to show you. It's in here in this mess I call an office. It's somewhere. Anyway, so I called up the deputy editor, a guy named Rusty Carter, and I said, hey, I'd like to come down and talk with you about supplying you with some articles, because the column that you're running right now sucks. That's what I told him. That was my pitch on the phone. So can I come down and talk to you? He's like, yeah, okay. And he sounded a little dubious, but he owed me because of the photos. So I go down and I showed him my book. I showed him my thing. And I said, here are 3 articles I've written to show you what I can do. And I had written 3 articles, and they looked at them and they said, all right, how much do you want? I said, you don't have to pay me anything. I just want a byline at the end of the article. They were like, sold. And so for the next 10 years, the Net Reporter ran every single Wednesday in the second oldest continuously published newspaper in the U.S.
Nice.
So what can we learn from that pitch? Okay. Know your audience. And the biggest thing is, what do they want? What do they want? What's their problem? How can you help them solve their problem? It's never about you. The other thing is, you don't have to get paid now. Sometimes the best thing you can do is just help somebody out and say, hey, I understand your pain. I understand your problem. I think I really think I can help you with this, which is going to make your life a lot easier. And then you hear people say all the time, make it a win-win. I think that's great. But what I think is even better is if you can make it so that their win feels bigger to them than your win. So these guys really, really needed pictures for the paper. Had them over a barrel if I'd have wanted to, but yet I got them great pictures and it didn't cost them a dime. My win was a little tiny thing underneath each picture. But see, I was playing the long game. I wanted to develop that relationship. And so when it came time to cash in on that relationship, or not really cash in, but to, cash in on that relationship, it wasn't usurious or anything like that. It was just another round of, hey, I know you guys want to do an internet column because I've seen you doing this one. How much are you paying this guy? $50 a column. Okay, $2,500 a year for a little paper. That's a chunk of money. I'll do it for you for free. Just give me a byline. And here's proof that I can do it better than this other guy. You're in.
Nice.
So that's some of the keys for pitching. I read a really good book by a guy named Anthony Sullivan, the guy who he pitches OxyClean now. He was friends and partners with Billy Mays. It's called You Get What You Pitch For. It's a great book. But these are the kind of things that he talks about in the book, and some other stuff too, about being enthusiastic and breaking through people's force field and other stuff like that. But the bottom line is, if you want to successfully pitch anybody, you got to know them really well. What's their problem? How does your product, your service, your offer help them solve that problem? And how can you create the big win for them? If you do that, you'll be welcome everywhere you go. And wherever you're not welcome, you probably didn't want to go anyway because the people are chuckleheads. So, these are kind of my thoughts. But that was my first big seminal pitch. There have been other pitches where I pitched people on giving me a job. I pitched people on giving me an opportunity. When I wanted to go into the mortgage business, man, they in 1992, they did not want to hire 1991. They did not want to hire 23-year-old kids who'd never even owned a house and had bad credit. And so I was pitched when I figured out that I could make it in the mortgage business. This was something that I could do. I wouldn't take no for an answer. I was calling presidents of mortgage companies on Sunday, pitching them on why at home.
Woo.
Pitching them on why they should let me come to work for them. And one guy was finally like, look, if you will just stop calling me, I will give you a job. I'll give you $1,000 a month draw, which is like nothing. You got 2 months to make it work or I'm kicking you out on the street. Within 6 months, I was making $5,000, $6,000 a month. Within a year, I was the top producer in my office. But pitching also means having tenacity and believing in yourself, believing in your product, even when everybody's telling you no. Other thing is that no today doesn't mean no forever. Most people will tell you no on autopilot, on a knee-jerk reaction, because they just want to see if you
how you handle it.
They just want to see if you're serious. They just want to see if you're serious. No, go away. And you go, okay, save me a lot of time. Obviously, this person's not, has no tenacity. But one of the most lucrative pitches I ever made was to Russell Brunson for the idea that became Funnel Scripts. And interestingly enough, it follows the same pattern. I already had a relationship with him because I read his book, liked his book, told him I liked his book, and told him I wanted to promote his book, which I did. And then I said, you know what? I could take some of these things we're doing in the Jim Edwards method, Easy Online Wizards, all this stuff. We could white label them, do some other stuff. I could turn your book into software. Russell, I've got 10 minutes and this was what I told him. I said, give me 10 minutes because I think I can help you not only get a whole lot more people signed up to ClickFunnels, but I think we can cut your churn rate massively. He couldn't get on the phone with me fast enough when I phrased it that way. And then I pitched him for 15 minutes. I laid out everything. He's like, let's do it. In fact, he said, I just bought this domain, Funnel Scripts. We'll call it Funnel Scripts. Let's get it done. And within a year, we'd made over $1 million. And we're closing in on the $20 million mark if we haven't passed that already.
Nice.
So again, know your audience. Okay, what do they want? What's a big problem they have? What's a big desire they want to have? How can you help them get that? How does your product, service, software, coaching help them get that? And how do you make them the big winner? So that they're like, holy crap, I need to sign up. I need to do this before this dude comes back to his senses, before he decides to raise the price, before he moves on to somebody else. That's how you do it. And don't take no for an answer. Woohoo.
Yeah, that's a good one. I tell you, you're very right about having confidence in yourself when you go into that pitch. That's probably the number one fuel that you need, is just personal self-confidence. And one way that helped me with not only military.com, but also you, is that I already had a book. Like, I just wrote a book.
Yeah.
I was just out of the military, and it was a fitness book, and I was able to talk to military.com as a published author, and they were like, oh yeah, I know who you are. And one guy was like 10 years older than me from the academy. I didn't know him, but he had evidently bought the book for his son who wanted to do Navy SEAL training. So it was just clicked like immediately. So it was like that when Russell Brunson said, let's do it.
But see, people call that luck, but the definition of luck is when preparedness meets opportunity.
Absolutely.
It's better to be prepared for an opportunity and not have one than have an opportunity and not be prepared for it. And it's amazing that when you're prepared, how many things actually turn into opportunities as opposed to not. A prepared person who's ready and got their stuff together and has their message straight has a much better chance of a pleasing result.
Yeah. And things start clicking too on both sides. Like everything's like, oh yeah, they start finding, commonalities that, would not have occurred had you not made that initial pitch. So
absolutely. And then success breeds success too.
Yeah.
Which I think is super, super important. So what's another story from your life where you pitched somebody on? I mean, did you have to pitch anybody on you getting into the Naval Academy?
You know what? That's a funny story. I actually did not.
Okay.
I will tell you this: a 10th grade history teacher. I was talking about being a pilot because I evidently, Top Gun came out, so I want to be a pilot. And he was like, you should consider the Navy because they have more planes than the Air Force. It just happened to be that little thing that kind of guided me through that. So it wasn't necessarily a pitch. It was just one of those things. It's weird how some comments that are inspirational that, one, give you an idea, but also drive your intentions, for a different road for the future. But mine was unique because I grew up in the middle of nowhere. And I was literally the only one who had applied to a service academy in my congressional district at that time. First of all, I was the first person to do it that year. Okay. So at that time, I was the only one that applied.
Okay.
And he's like, hey, you look good on paper to me. I know your dad. So it's like, yeah, you're good to go. You got my nomination. I was like, dang, I didn't even have to do an interview. It was solid. So it wasn't much of a pitch for that. And getting into special warfare, there was an interview, and it was a one-on-one interview with a Lieutenant Commander SEAL who'd been in for 20 plus years, I think, prior enlisted guy. And he just asked a variety of questions. And, it was one of those things where you just had to bring your A game.
Right.
It was like everything that you have done to prepare for this moment. And now it matters. right? So relaxing, thinking through, situations and breathing and just being able to engage those creative thoughts to come up with the right answer. And I think that was probably the thing that helped through that pitch, if you want to call it that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the big lesson to get out of this twofold. One, if you want to sell somebody your idea, your product, yourself, your service, whatever it is, the second takeaway comes right in is you need to be externally focused. You need to not be thinking about yourself. You need to be thinking about the person that you're pitching.
Yeah.
Looking at it from their perspective. What's their problem? What's the big solution they want? What would make them happy? What would help them to be able to get the results that they want? And how can you solve their problem? And if you look at it from that perspective, it will automatically start you in the right direction, as opposed to being like everybody else where it's me, buy my stuff, buy my thing. My thing's great. Let me tell you about me. Let me tell you about my product. And then it's refreshing when someone comes in and says, hey, it looks like you're having a hard day. Looks like this is a real problem, isn't it? And, I got good news for you is that we can solve that problem for you so you don't have to deal with this and this and this and this anymore. In fact, it goes way beyond that and that, doesn't it? It also is affecting these other areas too, which is making life pretty miserable, isn't it? And so the great news is that instead of having to do this, and this, all you got to do is this. And they're like, holy shnikey. That's amazing.
something I realized too early on when I was in high school and college, when I knew I was a good writer at the time, or I was becoming a better writer. And one thing that I quickly realized after a paper that I wrote that didn't do well, is that I need to write to my audience, right? I need to understand who this teacher is, right? And what this teacher's all about. Read their resume, read their history a little bit, get to know them a little. And then that's when my writing got to be much better. I
learned that in senior year in history, when I got a C on my first paper and then learned that my this particular history teacher was a raging liberal. And then when I changed the perspective of my papers and the conclusions that I came to, all of a sudden I started getting A's. And had another professor that I found out liked good Kentucky bourbon whiskey. And so I supplied him liberally with it along with conversation and ended up getting an A- in his class when I really deserved a C. So, yeah, understanding your audience is the key to that's your ticket into the stadium.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome.
You want to hear? You want to hear one of the best ones I'd ever seen of talking about a military one real quick? This won't take a second. When I was stationed back at the academy, I got to watch an admissions board at the admissions department, and it was lined up like Thanksgiving table full of, officers, senior enlisted, everybody's there that's in charge of, the admissions department. And then they pull in some seniors from other department heads, and they would have a stack of admissions paperwork to go through, and they'd all go through them, and they'd each give a brief on their candidates that they were selecting. And this one guy read this essay of the kid, and just one quick paragraph was, I want to, play football at Navy and become a pilot and retire as a Navy captain, right? Well, everybody on that board was not going to make admiral, right? They were Navy captains, and they were getting ready. This was their last tour, and they were getting ready to retire, and everyone to the person, basically had that kid's journey, and everybody just like stood up and like, yeah. That was another time where I was like, that kid just wrote that one little paragraph, and everybody loved it. Right? They're like,
Yep.
yeah, I like that guy.
Yeah. And
I don't know
there you
if the
go.
kid ever became a Navy captain or what, but I mean, that he wrote to his audience on that. And now, whenever I meet a young person that is, writing that essay, I say, make sure you want to serve your country, you want to do this, Otis, but at the same time, let me just tell you this quick little story. These are the type of people that are going to be reading this.
Yeah.
So that's your audience. So, yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You probably helped dozens of kids to get in with a single paragraph. The what I do in one sentence wizard. We could make one of those for how to get into Service Academy. I want to be in the blank academy because I want to blank. I also want to retire as a blank, and I want to serve my country.
Perfect.
Bam.
Perfect answer.
There you go. Nice work. All right, Stu, great job. They want to get in shape. Where should they go?
StuSmithFitness.com.
That's right. If you want to get an amazing, ever-growing collection of scripts that will help you to get more leads, make more sales, and develop stronger relationships with your customers and subscribers, head to copywritingsecrets.com and or go to contentmarketingscripts.com, where we'll give you an amazing training on how you can use content to build your business and do all those cool things. So appreciate you, Stu. Appreciate everybody who's with us. And if you're what?
Don't forget.
I said copywriting. Oh, and get a free copy of my book at copywritingsecrets.com. We have a few copies left. I'll send it to you absolutely free. All I ask you to pay a small shipping and handling to show me that you're serious and that you don't hate your children. Because if you don't have a copy of that book, you hate your kids, because it's going to help you make more money, pay for college, and be a great example and a better human being. So everybody have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.